thinking about, depression awareness, dude. And I'm like, man, my family, my brother committed suicide. He was 26. I was 18. My mother's mother committed suicide. My mother's aunt committed suicide. My father died at 49. He was depressed, had Tourette syndrome as well, grew up shitty. I grew up without my mother around. So I think I understand how these grounds are laid for depression and whatnot, So I was like, I don't know, I've just always been wanting to be a part of it, at least tell my story. And I'm not. My name is Glen DeMeritt III. Some call me the Turd, but that depends who you talk to. I know that was scripted, but that's what I do. I say that, and I'm a musician. I'm a music teacher. I'm a husband. I'm a father, and I play music in a band called the Pour Downs. We're a hoedown based band, and if you imagine the clouds coming in and serving some rain on you, that's what we do, and then we leave. And sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's fast rain, sometimes it's sprinkle, but it's all in a pour down. I've been toying with this, like my Sex, Drugs, and Bluegrass podcast, or even a podcast called a Current Resident. You know how you get mail and it's to somebody that lived there like 2 leases ago, or current resident. So it's current resident, where you're basically just checking in. Where are you? Who are you? And the premise is everybody is my teacher in that I can learn of them. Well, the stigma to me, as far as mental illness is concerned, is, on some level, everybody has depression and everybody has a certain level of mental illness. But we're all trying to hide it from each other. So therefore, there's your stigma. And we do certain things to make ourselves feel better. We have little things. We maybe take antidepressants, maybe we go meditate. I go meditate, I play pickleball, do these certain things to help myself get out of myself. So therefore, whenever somebody asks me to do something, I can say yes and follow through with it. So I don't just say yes and then make up 10 excuses to call them up to figure out how to back out of it, right? Why? Because I am self-doubting myself and figuring out how to stay comfortable, because you're too scared to get out of your comfort zone, right? But then you get out of your comfort zone anyway. So the stigma is being quiet about it, and that's why I appreciate what you're doing, because bringing it out into the open and even having a chat about it, man, everybody can relate to it. And then if we can all just relate to it and just say, hey man, I know I'm nervous about this shit, but I'm still going to move forward on it. If you just say it and move forward, that's better, because otherwise you're like, we do what we do, right? The fear, what they say, or anybody who's worth a shit says, the fear is your indicator of what you run to. So when you're scared of something, that's what you're actually supposed to act upon. That's like your inner indicator. But we haven't been taught the proper way to interpret these unctions and whatnot. Growing up, most things came fairly easy to me. Obviously, except for a couple of different things, but physical things, always easy, sports, whatever. If I put my mind to it, I excelled. But when I started doing music, man, it was like, boom, you're not in here. This ain't for you. You have to work your ass off for it. There was no natural talent other than the fact that I like to write, and I remember trying to match my first pitch on the guitar. It took me an hour, 2 hours, and then I got it, and I'm like, oh, and then I lost it, and then you got to find it again, then then you have to stand up and try to play your guitar or whatever, and it was just ridiculous. Started when I was 21 and was doing nothing but like thugging around or whatever, was in trouble with the law, and listened to a Doc Watson album, and I realized the timelessness. I was like, I want to incorporate myself in timelessness, because I ain't doing shit. So I was like, I'm a professional musician, 21, never touched that dang thing. And I was like, give me that guitar, Ronnie. That's my brother. And so I took it home and started going. Then a year later, my house burned down. Lost my dog. I was facing 6 felonies for growing marijuana, and moved to Wichita, Kansas, and dealt with my stuff in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Said, well, I could have died, so I'm going to music school. Went to music school, didn't know a damn thing, was completely confused, but went forward on that. And during that time, wasn't smoking or drinking or doing anything. I just kept a clear head. And you have to take that step, man. You have to go out there, and you just have to talk about it, honestly, dude. And I mean, and if anybody tells you they're suicidal, believe them. And do something about it. And if you're not suicidal and you're trying to look for attention, that's not cool either. But if you say to me, I'm suicidal, I'm taking you very seriously. And the true serious act on that is you call somebody, you gotta, and if you are suicidal or whatever, man, they even have those suicide dang hotlines. And man, if you're feeling down and you need to talk to somebody, reach out to those text helps or reach out to the suicide hotlines and just speak, or reach out to anybody. I don't care, man, I mean, you don't have to stand on the side of the street and act crazy, but if that's what you need to do, then go ahead and do that. But, at least do something. And if you're looking for a way out, then start giving of yourself to somebody else, and then you'll get out of your head. Or take action on something. That's how you do it. Take action. And you're not alone, I promise. And if you need medication, take medication. And try to figure out what releases your dopamine in your head. Man, things like the Shambhala, dude, what that's done, honestly, is it's kind of triggered a bunch of different things. It's forced me to continue to do what's right, if that makes sense. Because when you go sit in meditation, well, you're watching Netflix, you're looking at Facebook? No, you're sitting with yourself, right? So you might have just acted like a complete asshole and left the house, and now you're sitting here dealing with it, and you're like, okay. And then you're invited not to judge yourself at that moment, to let it go, sit here, and just focus on your breath. And as that happens, I've found personally that little things that bother me are pretty insignificant. And most of the times when I get freaked out and I start, getting caught up or whatever, it's very fear-based, and it's usually, it can be dealt with, and I take it too far, quote unquote too far. I don't mean that judgmentally, but dude, most people who suffer from like depression and addiction and all these mental illnesses are pretty, some of them are intelligent. I can't speak for myself, but I can see, other people I've met, and so, it's just taming the beast. This is called One Pass Through. It's pretty fitting. You've heard it before, I'm sure. Because we all have one pass through. 3 black cats sitting on a fence, to the gods looking for a rocket ship. Right around the corner, a lion waits for a monkey in a tree following bait. Rain keeps falling, the band keeps playing, and the time keeps ticking on and on and on. So come on, children, gather around and sing the chorus of the song. It don't matter who you are. If you're living on your mountain, living in your car, it don't matter what you do. You get one pass through. 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 So tell me what you gonna do with your one pass through. The bagpipes play her favorite tune. Frogs and bees are from the moon. She hears the city sounds from the hit parade. Ah, she says, back in the days, a bear and a mouse sitting around the house. They're thinking of things to say to the people of the streets with their bottles and grief, while their puppet mouths move to pray. It don't matter who you are. If you're living on your mountain, living in your car, it don't matter what you do. You get one pass through. 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 So tell me what you gonna do with your one pass through. Wrote this one for my son. Butterflies fly in a clear blue sky. If you eat your spinach, you'll be just fine. Get up in the morning and you go to school. Hit the books and don't play the fool. You put the boogie in the move, you put the cold and cool. Yeah, you bopping, you walking, yeah, you spitting truth. You say you paint your own life, so make it boom for real. But your ribs get counted, still it don't matter who you are. If you're living on your mountain, if you're living in your car, it don't matter what you do. You get one pass through. 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 So what you gonna do if you're one pass through? Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
It's been a pleasure, my man.
Oh, wait.
You know, I mean, even being vulnerable to talk about this is just fucking crazy. It's beautiful, you know, and the fact that you've allowed this and you put yourself out there, you know, and you're vulnerable, you know. I see you with your videos and whatnot, and just always being vulnerable, man. That's beautiful. I mean, that's, you know, it's like, that's showing your heart. And I mean, that's why you started music, I bet, in the first place. Maybe, you know, unless you were brought up with it.